This is the Lancer Locker Show on KYNT. Now, let's talk some Mount Marty University athletics with the coaches, as well as your host and the voice of Mount Marty University athletics, Tell Tanner.
I'm cold. This is horrible. It is like negative 12 degrees in Yankton when I got into work this morning. It was a horrible, horrible cold weekend. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk Mount Marty Lancer athletics. My name is Tell Tanner. Going to keep you company for the next half hour to 45 minutes whenever I get kicked out of this booth because I'm taking too long. The way we're going to do the show today, we're going to talk with a couple of guys with Mount Marty track and field. Last week we did men's basketball. This week the original plan was to do women's basketball, but Coach Bertram and I decided next week would probably be better because there is a Sacred Hoops tournament going on, and as the guy who runs Sacred Hoops, Coach Bertram will be in next week for the Lancer Locker. We're hoping to have a Lancer women's basketball player in as well, working out the scheduling for that one, but we're going to keep that as a surprise. That's going to be a lot of fun. We'll talk women's basketball next week, track and field this week. We've got a two-time All American we had in the booth a little earlier today in Mason Schleis, a heptathlon and decathlete. Heptathlon and decathlon is the two races that he runs, and we went into full detail of what those are. Don't worry about it. I knew what they were more or less, but man, I did not know just how complicated those two races are. Mason Schleis, a two-time All-American, will be in the booth. Well, we had him in the booth a little earlier today. That interview coming up next in a couple of minutes, and then we've got the head coach of the program, Coach Dan Fitzsimmons, up after that. He'll be coming up in a little bit as well. First, let's talk about the last couple games in Lancer athletics. Unfortunately, there's not a lot because the weather was so absolutely abysmal. First off, last Wednesday, the Lancers did suffer a couple of losses at home to Hastings College. The Mount Marty men did fall in that one, final score 76-53. Women fell 87-42. They were scheduled to go to Jamestown on Saturday. That was the Jamestown trip, the final trip going to Jamestown in the GPAC, but they did not end up getting to go because of the weather. That game has been rescheduled as of yesterday, I believe. It will be Monday, January 29th. Monday, January 29th will be that game. We will have coverage of it starting at, I believe, 5:30. No, it's 5:30. 5:30 up in Jamestown on the 29th of January, next Monday. 2 Mondays from now. It's going to be interesting what happens. Monday night Jamestown basketball. I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and take a break now. We'll come back in a couple minutes with the head coach and a two-time All-American, Mason Schleis and Dan Fitzsimmons, both around the corner. This is the Lancer Locker on KYNT.
¿Está buscando una casa para comprar? Me llamo Deb Speck de Vision Real Estate y puedo ayudarle a encontrar la casa perfecta. Yo sé que la barrera del idioma puede ser difícil, pero puedo facilitar el proceso. Escoja a un agente que se habla español. Envíeme un mensaje de texto 605-661-9398.
It's day one of your new career. Parker of Yankton has immediate openings for material handlers, machine operators, and setups for both day and night shifts. Along with a full benefits package beginning your first day on the job, Parker is offering a second shift pay differential of $235 plus a $1,000 retention bonus. Paid vacation, sick leave, 13 paid holidays, medical, dental, vision, supplemental, and paid life insurance all begin day one. Quarterly profit sharing and a 5% matching 401k plan. Fully vested on day one. Apply now at parker.com.
Parker, engineering your success.
At Triple Time Rudy's, not only do you get top-notch fuel to keep you on the move, but it's a destination for delicious local treats. You'll find quality South Dakota products like Dimmock cheese and premium meats from the Kaler and Renner lockers. It's your community's pit stop for more than just fuel. Triple Time Rudy's supports schools and events and provides fuel discounts to Yankton's largest employers. For all your daily fill-ups and convenience needs, stop by Triple Time Rudy's at 17th and Broadway.
Carbless handcrafted premium cocktails are a ready-to-drink vodka and tequila-based cocktail with no carbs, no sugar, gluten-free, and only 100 calories. It's guaranteed to be bursting with flavor in every sip. The Carbless Mix Pack is sure to please any crowd with a compilation of all the best-selling ready-to-drink cocktails, including sweet, citrus, and a twist of tequila flavors like lemon lime, black raspberry, cranberry, and margarita. Grab some today. Carbless Cocktails. Less is more.
Looking for the perfect meal that hits the spot every time? Look no further than Boss's Pizza and Chicken. At Boss's Pizza and Chicken, they're serving up piping hot, mouth-watering pizzas with all of your favorite toppings. And that's not all. The crispy roasted chicken is a taste sensation that will keep you coming back for more. Whether you're dining in with family and friends or enjoying a night in, order Boss's Pizza and Chicken of Yankton, where every bite is a moment of pure satisfaction.
We were founded on innovation and a passion to help our customers. This is Tiffany Tucson at Aztec in Yankton. We want our employees to thrive and succeed. Our core values are more than something we list on a wall. The team continues to grow. We have openings in a variety of departments: sign-on bonuses, double overtime, immediate benefits like retirement, savings, paid holidays, bonus earnings, tuition reimbursements, and more. Build your career with the group that's built to connect from rock to road. Stop by 700 West 21st Street or apply at aztecjobs.com.
All right, we're back on the Lancer Locker on a Monday afternoon in Yankton. Sitting here now with Mason Schleis, a senior for this Mount Marty indoor and outdoor track and field program, two-time All-American. Sitting in the booth with me, Mason. It is a pleasure to have you on the Locker for the first time.
Pleasure having me on.
It's going to be a fun one. We're going to talk about you. We're going to talk about Mount Marty track and field. And, of course, we're going to speak with the head coach of the program, Dan Fitzsimmons, coming up in a couple of minutes. But first, I want to congratulate you on the first team, first All-American you got, both indoor and outdoor last season, which is kind of interesting. You were an All-American in technically the same sport, but also indoor and outdoor 2 months apart. What's that like?
Yeah, it's so we have an indoor season, which we start practice in pretty much once we get back in September. And then that indoor season is usually from January to the start of March, which, I mean, it's indoor. It's South Dakota. There's snow on the ground.
It's horrible. As we see today, it's horrible. We love the indoor side.
Yeah, we love indoor because we don't have to deal with the weather. But then once the weather starts to get nice, we go outdoors and embrace the elements of the weather, I guess. And
hopefully that's not today.
No, I am not thinking about that anytime soon. So we're just going to enjoy indoor.
What's that like practice-wise for indoor? Obviously, during the fall, you're able to kind of get outside and do some runs, do a little bit of longer distance stuff, obviously, as a heptathlon athlete. But at this time of year, what is that like? What does practice look like?
So thankfully, we got the field house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's top-notch. So we're in there every day. At the start of the year, like in September, and October when we practice, we try and stay outdoors as long as we can, just because we know the weather's going to come and we know we're going to be stuck indoors for a few months. So just enjoy it outside while you can.
Have the outside while you have the option to go outside.
Because while we do have that field house, I mean, running circles in it every day, gets a little tiring, I guess. Same old. So.
You get to look at the exact same wall 3 to 4 times every single lap. Like, it sucks.
Yeah.
I gotcha. We'll talk about the field house itself with some of these Mount Marty home meets. I want to talk about going on the road versus staying at home at track. We always know that home field advantage is big in any sport. It really is. But what is it like in track and field when you know your track, you know the field house versus going to another kind of field house? What is the difference there in track and field?
So the first thing is like just get to sleep a little longer on the day. Don't have to travel anywhere. And I mean, you show up when your event starts, I guess. You show up an hour before so you can warm up. But the advantage is like we have a few, I don't want to say bad blocks, but bad karma blocks, I guess. Man. So I won't use certain blocks just because I don't like them because I've practiced with them. And,
all right.
You might not know that if you go somewhere else. So
I gotcha. So you know exactly which blocks you want to use. So the bad blocks, quote unquote, those are the ones you give to the rival school. I take it.
Yeah.
I love that. I didn't know that. No, that's cool. So you're obviously heptathlon, decathlon. What are some of the other things you run besides those two?
I'll run a 4x4 every once in a while if they need someone, like if someone's tired or something.
But for the most part, you're heptathlon and decathlon, correct?
Yep.
So tell me about those two. For anybody who doesn't know exactly what they are, we'll start with the heptathlon. Tell me about that race. So
the heptathlon is pretty much just 7 events in one. It's a little bit of everything. There's running, jumping. You even throw the shot put. We pole vault. And then we have a little distance event in there at the end. So
I didn't know there was pole vault in that too.
Yep, there's pole vault in
it. So walk me through, how does it work? Like, what is the exact distances, or what do you do here?
So for the heptathlon, so it's 2 days since it's 7 events. The first day we do 4 events. So we start out with the 60-meter dash, which is easy. I mean, it's 60 meters.
60 meters.
And then we go to the long jump. So that's not tough either. I mean, run and jump.
Sure.
And then we go to the shot put. And then the last event for day 1 would be the high jump.
Okay. That's interesting. Day 2, what does day 2 look like?
And then day 2 starts out with the 60-meter hurdles. And then it goes to pole vault. And then it goes to the 1,000 meters.
So heptathlon, you really just have to be an all-around athlete to do everything all at once.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's interesting. So how do they score it at the end? Just average scores from every single one, or?
So there's like in the 60, it's like right when the gun goes off, there's like so many points you can get, and it just basically counts down. So when you like the quicker you finish, the more points you will get.
Sure.
And then at the end of the competition, whoever has the most points wins.
Now, is it the same set amount of points, same times on every race, or is it kind of relative to how everybody else is doing? Whether you're first, but if your first time is slower than another meet, how does that work?
So it's the same time every time.
Okay.
So if you
So you can win. So you can get first place in a race and still not get as many points as you would have in a first place in another race.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I gotcha. Yep. Okay. Decathlon now. Tell me about the decathlon.
Decathlon's pretty much just, the heptathlon, except you add 3 events, and then everything gets further.
So now it's 10 instead
10
of 7.
events, yep.
Okay, what are the extra 3?
The extra 3 are the javelin, the discus, and then the 400.
This just sounds like fun. Exhausting,
but
yeah, fun.
It is. Puts your body to the test, that's for sure.
All right, so you said it's same but longer, and you add 3 events. So what is the longer distances?
Okay, so I guess I'll take it through it. The first event is the 100-meter. We go from the 60 to the 100.
Gotcha.
And then we go to the long jump. And then after the long jump, we go to shot put. And then after the shot put, we go to the high jump. So the first 4 events are pretty similar. And then on the final event for day 1 is the 400, which, it can be a grueling event.
The 400. I still think the 800, in my opinion, is the worst race to run. But the 400, I think people underestimate how fast that is.
Yeah, I would definitely agree the 800 is worse, and thankfully I don't ever have to run those. But the 400 does enough damage to me that I don't ever want to run an 800.
That's fair. All right, day 2 of the decathlon.
Day 2 starts with the 110-meter hurdles, and then after that we go to the discus throw, and then after discus we go to pole vault, and then after the pole vault we go to javelin.
Okay.
And then after javelin we go to the 1500.
Wow. How do you train for all of these things all at once?
So you definitely have days on what you train. You can't just train everything in one day in and day out. That would be way too much. So generally we have our hurdle days, our pole vault days, our throwing days, and then our jumping days.
We're going to talk a little bit more about the training side of it with you and with Coach Fitzsimmons here in a couple minutes. But first, I want to turn the attention back to you and kind of some of the things about your future and what's going on. You're an accounting major at Mount Marty University. You're set to graduate this spring as, I believe, a redshirt senior. So you're going to be you're finally going to be getting out into the world. What's the future plans?
Yep. So I have an intern right now with the CPA firm back home. It's in Osceola, Nebraska. And right now the plan is once I graduate just to join their team full time.
So what is the academic side of things looking at Mount Marty? Why did you want to come to Mount Marty, obviously for athletics, but academics as well?
Academics, so they allowed me to go usually with an accounting so eventually I want to sit for the CPA exams, and usually it's 4 years and then you go get your master's. Here I talked and they said you have to have 150 credit hours to sit for the exam. And here they talked about maybe just going 5 years, and I could get my 150 hours while I'm here and save a little money.
Did you end up doing that?
Yeah, yep. So
Nice.
I'll end up getting 150 credits, so it allows me to sit for the CPA and not go get my master's, save a little money.
That's still awesome. That's still 30 credits a year, 15 a semester. That's still a full-time slate, but 5 years, and you're able to do it instead of having to go get a master's degree, I guess, but you still get the same thing.
Yep.
That's actually really cool. I don't think I've ever heard of that. That's a super cool opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Already. All right. So obviously you're trying to go back kind of the hometown area. Is that something you've always wanted to kind of go back home?
Yeah, I like back home, so I never ruled it out. But I also like the Yankton area a lot too, So
You're open to what it comes.
Yeah, I'm not going to rule out not ever coming back here either because I also like it up here. So
unless it's cold.
Yeah. Maybe in the summer.
I'm not a fan of the snow right now. I'd rather be probably in Florida on a beach right now, but it is what it is. Upcoming schedule for these next couple events for the Lancers. Obviously, your Mount Marty opener this weekend got canceled, which had to be really disappointing with this weather here. I know you were probably training for that all break. So your next one will be this upcoming Saturday at the SDSU Invitational. Can you tell me what the preparation has been going into that one? Because it's been a month, 2 months since you've had a meet?
Yeah, I think our last meet was, over a month ago now. So, obviously wanted to have the first meet, but, with the weather, you can't force things. You got to be smart about it. Don't want to have some unnecessary accident happen. But, so we're looking forward to our next meet. Just plugging away, training one day at a time. And I guess when the meets come, we got to enjoy them and attack them, I guess.
It's going to be interesting what kind of happens with the weather these next couple of weekends. I know this weekend it's supposed to get a little bit warmer, but it's still not going to be great. Luckily, it's indoor season. When do you actually turn to outdoor? Is that March?
Yeah, so it'll be after National. So the indoor nationals is the first week in March, and then we usually have spring break the week after, I think. So kind of just a good time to relax and get the body healed up. And then once we come back from spring break, we usually start training for outdoor.
Absolutely. So if you want to see, obviously, Mason Schleis and some of these other guys involved in this Mount Marty program, the Mount Marty Last Chance is scheduled for February 9th. That'll be in the Ruth Donahue First Dakota Fieldhouse in Yankton. Didn't get to do the MMU opener this weekend, but we will get the Last Chance in February. If you want to see this guy and some of the other Lancer players there, you can come out and watch. That's going to be a fun one, Mason.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on the Lancer Locker today. Is there any other message you want to leave for Lancer fans or your family or anybody that you want to give a shout out to?
I guess just thank you to the Yankton community. It's been an awesome community. I've been here 5 years and haven't had an issue. I love it here. So thank you guys.
Mason, it was a pleasure having you on the locker today. Good luck the rest of the way with your events. Obviously, you've got a lot of training to do, so I'll let you get back to it. We're gonna stay on, talk with Coach Fitzsimmons and you coming up after the break, though.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and take that break. We'll come back with the head coach in a couple of minutes. This is KYNT.
This is Lisa from Slumberland Furniture in Yankton. Our store is inspirational, modern, bright, and our warehouse is filled with the latest in furniture and home decor trends. You'll find the best brand name furniture and quality mattresses with the best customer service possible. Slumberland always guarantees the lowest prices. See us at 2401 Broadway in Yankton.
At Pizza Ranch, we want you to pick and choose. This is Annie from Yankton Pizza Ranch, and right now, our online carryout deal is pick and choose 2 or more of select items for just $7.99 each. Choose from a medium one-topping pizza, a medium cheesy ranch sticks, a single chicken fries, an 8-piece boneless wings, a chocolate chip cookie, a small cactus bread, or 4 20-ounce beverages. Carry these out, and your dinner is done. Pick and choose at pizzaranch.com.
Powerful changes occur when people unite. At United Way of Greater Yankton, we unite people to activate positive change and to make lives better. Help us build a brighter future for all through access to health care, basic needs, a good education, and financial stability. Learn more about United Way of Greater Yankton, our mission, our programs, and how you can help online at yanktonyunitedway.org. Together, united, we are building a brighter future for all.
Swoosh. Nothing but net. Nothing is better than being in the zone on the court or the roads with a brand new car, truck, or SUV from Lewis & Clark Ford Lincoln. Take advantage of the buzzer beater deals going on all month at Lewis & Clark Ford today. He shoots, he scores. That could be you. Get that feeling at Lewis & Clark Ford, a proud sponsor of Mount Marty Athletics.
Wellness should feel good and taste good. That's why Alani Nu offers a range of delicious energy drinks to support your goals while bringing bright, bold flavors to your daily routine. Whether you want to hit your last rep, beat the competition, or simply balance your hormones, do it all with an Alani Nu energy drink in hand.
promising to increase physical performance and boost focus. With just 10 calories and no sugar or gluten, Alani Nu energy drinks are a healthy way to fuel your fun. Stock up today. Beef, pork, seafood, poultry, and more. All at the Meat Lodge in Yankton. Get top quality meats at great prices. They have specialty items like lamb, brisket, mahi-mahi, crab legs, and lobster. They even have non-meat options like Dimmick cheese, pickled items, seasonings, and sauces. For your convenience, you can call and order curbside pickup or order online at meatlodge.com. The Meat Lodge in Yankton, on the way to the lake on Highway 52.
All right, we're back on the Lancer Locker now with a couple of guests. Obviously, Mason Schleis returns, and we've got the head coach of the program, Dan Fitzsimmons. Dan, we wanted to have you in on the first segment, but sometimes the weather just interferes. Got stuck trying to get in, so I appreciate the effort of getting in here. That was really great of you to get all the way into the studio, fight through the snow.
Well, I got my workout in for this morning, so I don't have to lift any weights.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's a good way to look at it. You don't have to do any cardio for the next month. I wouldn't. All right, let's talk about track and field. To this point, obviously, with the weather this last weekend, you didn't get to have your opener meet. I know you guys have been training for a long time. It's been a month since you've really been able to get out there and compete. So what is the team looking like right now? I bet they're restless, ready to go at this point.
Well, we're very fortunate we got 2 meets in before Christmas. Normally we'd only had one, and Coach Wiebelhaus and I decided, let's, our athletes are ready. Let's get a second meet in, and that's proven to be beneficial to us because otherwise we'd be short a meet compared to a year ago. So we didn't know the weather was going to turn since Christmas, all this snow. So everything's really kind of on a TBA the rest of the way because you just never know. Even this weekend, the forecast is possible flurry, snow, south, north, and you just never know how that's going to affect certain communities. I know it was hard for us to cancel this weekend, but it was the right decision. And we were kind of in the brunt of the storm. So, you look at all the road conditions. Once you got into Yankton County, things got a little dicey, and it all the way around, it was just the best for the safety of not only athletes, the spectators. We had some high school kids coming, and it would have been horrible if somebody would have gotten in an accident trying to get to a track and field meet.
I don't think anybody disputes that. It was horrible this weekend. It was one of those weekends where I stocked up on food right before it and did not leave my house once. I just locked myself indoors and did not step out into the cold, and it was much better. So talking about this upcoming couple of meets, you've got a guy here in the studio here in Mason Schleis that is a multi-time All American, a guy who's really going to be competing this year. Can you tell me what this guy brings to a program?
Well, he's so versatile. It's one of those deals where, yes, he's an All American in the multi-events, but he's rightly so in a couple of his individual events. If he just focused on those, he could maybe be an All American in those as well. Of course, the time schedule, he would probably do more, but the time schedule doesn't allow for it. But yeah, we're very blessed to have him here, and it's exciting. It sends a good statement to the rest of the athletes that, it's not just a matter of being good at one thing. It's nice to be good at 2 or 3 things. And
or his 7 to 10.
In his case, 10 or more things. And it teaches the younger athletes that, the impossible is possible. You just got to manage your time. You can still be an outstanding student. You can still be an outstanding athlete. You just got to keep everything in balance and not overdo one area, because then that could sacrifice the whole thing.
You talked about the timing when it comes to events like the heptathlon and decathlon. I'm really curious how the training works in events like that. Because obviously in the heptathlon, as we talked about with Mason a little earlier, you get 7 events that you got to train for. Decathlon, 10. What does a weekly schedule look like for an athlete like Mason, where you've got to train absolutely every single event in different ways? What does the schedule look like?
Well, we pick and choose our battles. We high jump with him once a week. We try and get him over the long jump pit once a week. He spends a little more time on the hurdles and sprints and the speed and power stuff because most of the events require speed and power. Naturally, he likes to pole vault, so we try and get that done a couple times a week. And then by doing all those events, we hope that creates a little bit of endurance so that he can run the 1,000 or the 1,500, but he'll add in a couple of miles here and there and everywhere. But it's just a matter of, like this week with possibly a short week and a possible meet on Friday, it shortens up the week, and so maybe some of the meets become his training grounds. And, if there's an event he could qualify for nationals in individually, we'll want to give him that shot. And at the same time, if it's an event we didn't really get to practice that week, maybe we put him in that event for the meet so he gets some reps in that way. So it's always a work in progress. You can't just, write it out and think it's going to stick. It changes from week to week, month to month, and based on what his needs are. And certainly he has some strengths. He's gifted with a lot of speed. He's gifted with endurance. He's got some spring. So those events come maybe a little bit easier for him than maybe some other decathletes. And so we don't necessarily have to focus as much on those in practice because he already has those skills. But at the same time, he has to throw a little bit. And he's not the biggest guy. So throwing would probably be the most difficult thing for him in terms of, scoring. But at the same time, he holds his own in there and he makes up for it in his other events.
So I guess there's so much more strategy that comes to track and field than most people seem to realize. So when you have things like pole vaulting where you love to do it and you're very good at it, and then things like these throwing events, what do you kind of focus on more? Do you focus on the throwing event practicing more to kind of get a little better at that, or the things he's already really good at in order to raise these scores? What's the strategy there?
Well, you got to do the things you like to do, the things that come easy, and then you have to be careful because, if we wanted him to throw a lot better, he could. He could bulk up, put on some weight, but then you're sacrificing some speed and you sacrifice your vertical jump. And so all of a sudden your strengths aren't as strong as they used to be. So you just have to kind of figure out what the athlete's strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and what battles are worth fighting and what other battles you're just saying, okay, let's just survive.
Now, Mason, we'll bring you back in here. He alluded to the point that high jumping is something you like to do. Is that your favorite of the kind of individual events, or?
Honestly, the favorite is probably long jump or pole vault.
Okay.
Just, yeah.
What's your longest and your highest?
My highest would be 440 for meters. I don't know exactly what that converts.
About 14 and a half feet or so.
That's high.
And then my long jump would be 695, which I don't know what that.
He's about 23-foot long jumper.
We're gonna have to teach you American units here.
I'm on the metric system.
23 and a half foot. That's far. That's very far. Well, congratulations on those for your highs. So Coach Fitzsimmons, we'll come back to you now as we talk about the upcoming schedule for indoor track and field. You've got indoor track and field for the next 2 months, about a month and a half, and then you go straight into outdoor. We've talked about it every time we get you in. These athletes never get a break. What is the training going to be like over the next couple weeks?
Well, we got to first see what kind of shape we're in coming off of Christmas break. I'm sure some athletes worked out really well and feel like they're starting off where they left off, and others probably feel like, not having to meet this past weekend was probably a blessing, and they got to train through it, and they'll be in better shape next week. So it's just a matter of figuring that out with each athlete. The nice part is when you look at training, what we do now is not so much a reflection of what we'll do in 6 weeks, but probably what we'll do outdoor. And so we have about 18 weeks to the outdoor national meet. And so it's well within reason to train through the next 18 weeks and, not run out of steam. I think last year a little bit we were in such good shape early with some of our athletes that they ran out a little steam down the home stretch. And, there's nothing worse than limping into the national meet. We want to go to the national meet and be very successful. So, one, you have to get qualified. So we have to get in shape to hit those qualifiers. And at the same time, we've got to remember it's not what we do now, but what we want to do later that's most important.
Right. It seems to be something that's a little different in track and field. Once you qualify for nationals, that's the goal until you get to the national meet. So after an athlete qualifies for nationals, what does their season look like until the national meet? Do they kind of pick and choose their meets that they really compete at, just kind of staying in shape and improving, or they all go every time? How does it work?
It's different for every athlete. Like the distance runners coming off cross country, if they can qualify early, they might train right from cross country right into indoor track, see if they can get qualified before Christmas, and then take their break over Christmas. Someone like Mason in the multi, if he can get a multi in before Christmas, and he's trained all fall since September 2nd or so, then he can take a break over Christmas, and he might not come back in as good a shape as he was when he last competed, but now he's rested for the long haul. Others, it's just a matter of when you get the opportunity. The 5K is not run every meet, 3K is not run every meet, 4x800 isn't every meet, distance medley is a national event, but hardly run in any meets. You look at, some of the sprinting, 200-meter tracks versus 300-meter tracks, bank tracks. What track gives you the best opportunity to get your best performance? And so we've got to mix and match that along the way as well.
Coach, final question is you go into national meet, which is going to be February 29th through March 2nd, that full first week of March, basically a couple days there, Thursday to Saturday is what it'll be. It's in Brookings. That's got to be nice. You got the indoor championship in Brookings, a place that you're going to have multiple meets in before you even go to the national meet. Possibly 3 times you'll be able to go there. That's got to be nice.
Yeah, and that's why we like to go up there. It gives us a little bit of home field advantage. It is definitely different running your sprint races, bigger curves, longer straightaways. Field events, it takes a little bit of acclimation too. Every long jump pit's a little different. Every pole vault runway is a little different. You have raised runways. You have runways in the infield, runways on the outside of the track, and it just creates a different environment for each athlete. And when we go up to Brookings, we've become accustomed to what their facility's like, so it's not like we have to relearn everything or make all these adjustments. We've got our marks, we've got our steps. We like to treat it like business as usual. So that's the advantage of having the national meet in Brookings. And don't know how long it's going to stay there. There's been rumors of moving it to Indiana. But
where the outdoor championship is, correct?
Yes, and they've built an indoor facility, I think, in Indianapolis, rumors has, that's a bank track that they're trying to move the NEI indoors to. So we'll take advantage of this opportunity this year, and then we'll worry about the future after it's all said and done.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming in today. Good luck throughout the rest of this indoor season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Mason, thank you for coming in as well. It was a pleasure having you in the booth. Good luck in your future as well.
Yes, thank you very much.
This is the Lancer Locker on KYNT. Let's take a break, come back, finish things up in a couple minutes.
Chuck is a Runza French fry superfan.
Can't get enough of them.
Is it the crinkly goodness?
Kinda.
Is it the way the crinkles on the fry expertly hold the Runza Ranch?
Yeah.
Is it the fact that Runza Kringle fries look like tiny accordions?
Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It makes me so happy.
You're not wrong, Chuck. Because from the way we make it to the way it makes you feel, Runza makes it all better.
Runza, 3206 Broadway Avenue.
I learned a lot of sayings from my dad. One of them was, do one thing, do it better than anyone else. At Dakota Mac, that one thing is long-term, fixed-rate loans for ag real estate. If you're considering expanding your ag operation or restructuring your debt, give Dakota Mac a call. They'll be happy to walk you through your options.
Hi, it's Jeff Wolfgram from Dakota Mac. Call us at 800-682-4578 to learn how Dakota Mac products can work for you.
When you need to be sure, make it SureCo. Smart Trailer from SureCo is still the most complete line of electric accessories for your grain trailer. Smart accessories such as the 4500 Series HD electric tarp, Pro Trap and Auto Trap electric hopper doors, and the Drive Max Auger Drive Kit from SureCo both offer convenience and peace of mind for operators. When only the best will do, give us a call at 1-800-474-8756 or find us online at sureco.com. Make it SureCo.
As a proud community bank, Core Trust delivers more than just checking and savings accounts. We invest in the cities and towns where we live and work by volunteering to coach youth sports teams, supporting local charities and the arts with our time and resources. Whether we live in a rural town in South Dakota or a suburban city in Minnesota, it's a place we call home. Core Trust Bank. Raise your expectations.
Member FDIC.
If you want a job where your work matters, you belong at Avera. Here, we've invested in our workforce because every Avera team member drives our health ministry forward, making a difference in lives and communities every day. We offer competitive pay, great health insurance, and even career opportunities. We're putting people first, including you. Search for local job openings and apply at avera.org/careers.
Well, we return for the final time on the Lancer Locker on a KYNT. My name is Tel Tanner. Been keeping you company here on a Monday evening. We're back for the Lancer Locker. We'll be back for the foreseeable future. We've got a whole lot going on with Lancer Athletics. We've got, obviously, our next show next week with Alan Bertram and Mount Army women's basketball. We'll have a player in as well. Hopefully, another senior. We're going to work out the scheduling here. And then the week after that, I don't know, honestly. I really do not know what the show is going to be, because that will be Monday the 29th, the same day that I am scheduled to be up in Jamestown, North Dakota with the men's and women's basketball team. So we're going to see what scheduling we can work out, see if we can maybe get this show pre-recorded ahead of time, see what we can do there. We're exploring options at this point. But for the moment, we're looking forward to next week with women's basketball. One more time, we'll go over our upcoming schedule here for men's and women's basketball, as it is that time in January. They will be going to Midland University, Fremont, Nebraska, this Wednesday, 6 p.m. start. We will be live here at 5:15 on KYNT. After that, home game. The Lancers get Dakota Wesleyan University at home, 2 p.m. on Saturday. Those are the next two games coming up for the Lancers. One on the road, one at home. It's going to be a good week. This has been the Lancer Locker on KYNT. Big thank you to Coach Dan Fitzsimmons and to Mason Schleis for coming in and talking with me today. I really enjoyed meeting Mason. He's obviously a very good athlete. Seems like a good dude as well, and was very well spoken on the mic. Very, very appreciative of him for coming in, and for Dan Fitzsimmons, who got stuck on his way into the studio with the weather being the way it is, was able to get in either way. So I'm very thankful for those two guys. That's going to do it for the Lancer Locker today. I hope you enjoyed. We'll